Hello and welcome to a Taylor's Tales podcast. This is Chris's Corner. I'm your host, Chris Taylor, and welcome back to a brand new episode. This week, I'm going to be talking about you have no enemies. Specifically, the idea of stoicism within animation and within the world, and just an all-round feel-good podcast. Just talking about how life can feel heavy sometimes, but it is your burden to carry it.
You told me once to forget the past, because it doesn't matter. But nothing good came of it. There was no place for me to return to. This was the only place I could go.
I'm not going there to die. I'm going to find out if I'm really alive.
And can you carry that weight? Can you just take that next step forward? And the reason why I bring this up is I've had chats with friends recently. I've had conversations where I realise that within our own bubbles, within our own worlds, where we're the main character and everyone around us is a side character in our lives.
I'm the main character, and you have to like me.
We forget that sometimes you need to take responsibility for your own actions, but also you have to understand that the world isn't against you. Someone's not pulling strings, whether you believe in God or whether you believe in Allah, whether you believe in Jesus, if you believe in Buddhism, if you believe in any of the religions. You can't focus on the big man upstairs. You can't focus on a deity or a being of power that's controlling your life and questioning it constantly. You will go insane. You will most likely find yourself into a downward spiral because everything is out of control. And this is why I refer to Stoicism and why I'm referring to, for instance, in this case, Vinland Saga and Thorfinn taking control of his life by saying that he has no enemies. And I will be playing the clip of his father talking to Thorfinn as a kid, saying, why do you want to take a sword? Why? Who are you trying to kill? A sword is a weapon for killing. A sword is there to slay your enemies. Who are your enemies? The truth is, you have none. The truth is that nobody has any enemies. Nobody has a foe in this life.
Do you want a sword, Thorfinn? A sword is a tool meant to kill. Why do you need it? Whose life do you intend to take?
Enemies.
Your enemies? Who are they?
Well, bad guys like Halfdan.
Listen to me, my son. You don't have enemies. The truth is that nobody has them.
The truth is that we make it up. It's some idea that somebody else to blame, somebody there to take responsibility for the wrongdoings that have happened in your life. But if you were to look at, for instance, the animal kingdom, and you look at the battles that take place between lions and jackals and hyenas and the wild, do you think that the madness and the murder and the hunt for the hunger is somebody's responsibility? Do you blame the lion for being the lion? Do you blame the elephant for being the elephant? Do you blame the giraffe for being the giraffe? You don't. They are who they are. They're not enemies to one another. They don't blame one another for being who they are. That's just who they are. Now, I'm not saying that you can't make a change in this world and change who you are, but don't expect the rest of the world to change around you just because you are. Just because you've become a better person or achieved something more in life, don't expect the rest of the world to conform to your ideals. This is something that I've learnt over time, that people expect the world to revolve around them, just like we revolve around the sun. This idea of the sun revolving around us is very much the human mind. This idea of me, 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 me.
I. I'm so fucking important. I'm so fucking important, right? Fuck you.
And this constant need for others to follow in your footsteps. Problem is that if everyone did the same thing that you did, it'd be a very boring world. If everyone did the same thing that I did, it would be an extremely dull world. And I think this is the ideals that I'm getting from characters like Guts, Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius, from Gladiator, for instance, and the soundtracks that I've recently played through movies and films and animations and video games, is this idea that if you go throughout the world, and this is something that I've discovered through all my travels, is that I've always gone out of my way to treat people the same way I would want to be treated, but also have a smile on my face while I'm doing it, and treat people and have joy and bring joy to other people, and try and bring a smile to your face, the viewer, the listener. Yeah, I can list that listener right now. He or she just smiled to themselves and they would, I just caught you. I caught you there, you cheeky one. And I love it.
Oh, you don't even smile.
And I think that, yeah, it's cringe. Fuck it. Why not? That's who I am. That's who you are. This idea of coolness and me, I don't want to smile. I mean, you're very cool, you're very hip. Shut the fuck up. You know how you feel when you feel that joy and you're grinning from ear to ear. That's why I love Kingdom Hearts so much. It's because Sora, Donald and Goofy were there to bring joy to the world. They went from world to world, making the world a better place. They went there with an open heart and an open mind. They never once blamed the people who were there in the worlds for not being able to defeat the Heartless. They went there with the idea that it was their responsibility to help, to not hinder, to not blame, to make friends. And this is something that seems to be lacking. It seems to be a blame game in the world at the moment. It seems to be a way of all of us pointing the finger at one another and saying that it's their fault. But the truth is we need to empty our minds, and we need to empty the cup that is our life and understand that it's okay to start again and to not blame others and to not see the world as some sort of enemy. Because every time we struggle with negativity, every time we struggle with some sort of hard time in our lives, no matter the scale, doesn't matter if you're a multi-billionaire, whether you are the poorest of the poor, our problems are equal. Because we all suffer from the same things of being the human condition. And this to me is very funny. I find it really, because the person can have everything they could possibly want in their lives. They can continuously gain and gain and gain and gain. But even when you've achieved everything that you've ever wanted, the truth is that you're still wanting more. And I think while most people see that as a negative, I see it as a positive, in the sense that you will always have an endless road to go down. It is, as always, the cringiest thing ever to say, the journey that you take on along that road that is the true win, the true W, as the kids say nowadays, the dub. The enjoyment is on the path.
You're going to be all right. You just stumbled over a stone in the road. It means nothing. Your goal lies far beyond this, doesn't it? I'm sure you'll overcome this. You'll walk again. Soon.
Something that I really love to do is reflect upon some of my wins in my life, but also some of the losses, because you can't have the good without the bad. If we were to just have constant positivity, constant serene lifestyles, we would no longer see it as a serene lifestyle. We would see it as actually quite negative at some point. You would see, I think Joe Rogan said it really well. He said that if somebody was just sat there on a sunbed being fed grapes for life and being giving everything they wanted, after a while they'd slap those grapes out of the person's hand and say, "Get the fuck away from me, what are you doing?" Like, you'd be bored. You'd be bored after like 2 days of doing that, of drinking margaritas, being fed grapes and sitting on that sun lounger.
Your life isn't margaritas on a beach in Jamaica. That happens now and then. Those are exceptions. Your life is how your wife greets you at the door when you come home every day. Because that's like 10 minutes a day. Your life is how you treat each other over the breakfast table. Because that's an hour and a half or an hour every single day. You get those mundane things right, those things you do every day. You concentrate on them and you make them pristine. It's like you got 80% of your life put together. These little things that are right in front of us, they're not little. That's the first thing. They are not little, and they're hard to set right. And if you set them right, it has a rippling effect, and fast too, way faster than people think.
This is this idea of we need struggle. We need the world to force us to evolve as people. And I talked with a friend yesterday about how you are no longer the person you were yesterday. You know, I evolve. But if I was to talk about myself a year ago, let alone 10 years ago, completely different person each year. And if you aren't doing that, if you aren't changing as you're getting older, if you are the exact same person you were 10 years ago, well, now's the day to change, because you can't constantly stay that same person. That means you're not learning from life. You're allowing life to happen to you rather than you to adjust to life. This is what I'm talking about. We blame life for the struggle. We blame people for the things that happen to us rather than we can make a change against the external world. Now, there's some things we can't control, but we can definitely control this vehicle, this meat puppet right here, this, "Oh, Daddy, like my sausage fingers."
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausage?
This is what we can control. But you can't control the external world, but you can adjust to it. You can become stronger. You can help those who are in need. One of the greatest regrets I have when I was younger was that I wasn't strong enough to stand up to other people for other people. Now, I know that's not always a good thing, but my heroes growing up were those who defended those who couldn't. And this is why I have this need to work out, this insatiable lust to make myself better, faster, stronger, not because I care about how strong I am or how fast I am, but because I need to be that person who can stand up for others. I need to be the hero who comes in, because it is the known of being weak that allows me to become stronger. It is the known of being slow that has allowed me to appreciate the speed. It is being weak that allows me to understand strength. This is the purpose of the human condition. I think it is. Like, if you were to ask me, Chris, if you could go back in time, would you change any of that? No. Because then I wouldn't have learned. That's why I appreciate, that's why I'm inspired by those who have more than me. Because I know that I had less, and by doing more, it's allowed me to become better. And you could say, but Chris, now, like, do you want more now? And I say, yes, I want more. And the ability to keep pushing myself, to keep going forward, to keep moving forward, to keep pushing against the darkness is the way forward.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
We can't complain about the governments. We can't complain about life itself. We just need to be our own individual kings of our castles, of our minds. Because if you haven't got control of this, why on earth should anybody listen to you about external opinions about the world? If you can't even get past this in your head, I'm pointing to my skull for those who are just listening. For those who are just listening, if you can't get past that, if you can't move forward, then why on earth should anybody take you seriously? You know, there's new levels of depression in society. New levels because the world has become a sedentary place almost, a sedentary lifestyle. So you need to keep moving, whether that be exercise, whether that be pushing yourself mentally. Something that I struggle with is reading, so I have to push myself and read, because I know for a fact it's good for me, because it's struggle, because it hurts, because it's tough. And with Guts and his ideas in Berserk, where the ideas of pain and suffering are forever there with you, it's that music that sets off in the background, that beautiful soundtrack that Berserk writers put together, that rings on my head in the ideas of peace and being at peace with oneself is so important. It is pushing further into the darkness and understanding who you are as a person. And this may sound like quite a depressing podcast. It is not. It's actually what makes me most happy, is talking about these things that happen in your mind, that we blame the world around us rather than writing down what our weaknesses are and working on them. You know, like if you say your strength is you bench whatever, then all you do is think about that strength. You don't focus on your weaknesses of your legs, for instance, where you skip leg day. Never skip leg day, that's for the weak. And for those who don't do cardio, you'll focus on all of your strength rather than your weakness of your cardio. And it's the same with those, you didn't do a degree, therefore you've allowed your mind to slip, and you've allowed yourself to go into the normalities of life and blame the world around you for not being smarter than you already are. You must understand that there is no responsibility for anybody to give you an explanation of life. That is life's definition in itself. It is a game with no rules. The only rule is to play. And this is this idea that if this is a simulation, every thought in your mind that says, I wish I did something, you should do it now, because there is nobody who's going to remember what you did after you've died. Nobody. And it may scare the living crap out of you that you want to be remembered, but even the most powerful beings of all time, very few and far between are remembered. So unless you're going to be the Michael Jordan of your field, or the Michael Jordan of basketball, whatever, even after 100 years your memory will fade, and that should excite you. It should say, today is today and I shall use it. I shall use it because it is inspiring to know that there is an end, and at any moment it could all go to crap. And it could end here beautifully in this life. And there are moments that you should be thinking of your head, these beautiful moments. And I'm going to give you draw you a little picture of one of my moments. The sun's setting, and you see the waves beautifully. And you're on the island, you can oversee the whole of Auckland. And you can watch as that beautiful ball of fire sets into the beautiful blue sky, crystal and aqua in taste and flavour in your mind. And you watch it fall slowly into the background. And you feel the wind against you. And it's a beautiful cool wind. 18 degrees. And you just realise that moments like this will last forever in your mind, because everything else, all that hard work you did up to that point, was worth every second for that one moment. And I hear many athletes nowadays getting depressed after they win the gold medal at the Olympics, or they've built a career around football, whatever they've done. They had one passion and that was it, and that was over. And I think Kobe Bryant really said it well. You've got to then readjust and refocus on something new. He did an animated series, and he went and directed, and he wrote, and he found his new objective. And that's what we all find. Once you've achieved something, once you've found that one moment, you need to create more of those moments. Those things that live with you forever, those memories. Because we all remember as kids this feeling of utter joy, of those moments that you didn't even try to achieve, but you achieved them anyway. And we all, the listener and the viewer right now, you can all picture in your mind those moments. Which pure joy, the pure smile across your face where you're thinking to yourself that. It could be your first ice cream. It could be running across a beautiful green field for the first time. It could be cycling on your bike as your dad's chasing after you, making sure that you're not going to fall over, and it doesn't matter because you just cycle around anyway because you finally learned how to cycle. And it's these moments, those moments, that we need to create as an adult. Maybe before you have kids, or when you have kids, is to create those, moments with your kid. And that you'll know for a fact that that's what life's about. And that it doesn't matter how much money you have, how much power. Money makes things easier, don't get me wrong, creates you more freedom and the ability to, choose those memories and choose where they're going to happen. But apart from that, you need to figure it out and figure out how to get that and what path you're going to take. It's very easy to allow all of the bad things that happen in your life to you. To you, I say to you because everyone feels that way, like they're lugging around a mass on their back that's forever there, like Atlas carrying the world in the myth after giving, or was it Prometheus who gave the people fire and when that was then punished by the gods. And it's very easy to just look at it. And so the thing that I get from Vinland Saga, from Berserk, from all of these stoic-minded animations, and even from the previous episode where we were talking about Gato and this easy ability to fall down the dark path and just forget that the hardest path is staying good, and the hardest path is one where you don't take the easy way out. And it may feel like it's a never-ending void that you do on your own. And it is a lonely path because there are not many people who are willing to take this path because it is truly painful. It is true, consistent grind over and over and over and over and over again. And as you grow, as you become stronger, the world around you will start to recognize that strength. And you'll sit there and you'll wonder, but why didn't they recognize me when I was younger? And this is it. This is the moment where you realize to yourself, they don't understand the journey like I do. And the journey that you went on, all those late nights, all of those solo missions, all of those moments that you have with yourself, those are the things that are going to keep you going, the fire within. And to quote Berserk here, a man who would be my friend must have his own reason for living, beyond me. And he must put his heart and soul into his dream. Even if he must not hesitate to defend it, even against me. Some see nothing more than life and death. They are dead, for they have no dreams.
The man who would be my friend must have his own reason for living, beyond me. And he should put his heart and soul into protecting his dream. He should never hesitate to defend it, even against me. Some see nothing more than life and death. They are dead, for they have no dreams.
And this, to me, is the thing that we all look towards in life. We must have these dreams. We must be human and dream bigger than ever. For if you do not dream, you are already dead. And you are living someone else's life. You must write these dreams down, and you must not share them until you've accomplished them. You must go on that journey towards those dreams, and you must treat everyone around you like they are going on their own journey for their dreams. And that is what I'm talking about. For those who don't understand, it is tough to explain to somebody who doesn't know the pain of either losing a dream or gaining a dream, or pursuing a dream, and understanding the resolve that it takes to get there in the end. You must go on your own journey to figure that out. And if you're still here at the end of this podcast, you'll know that you too have the gall to keep moving forward, to keep pushing further and further and further. And I think something that I love about, for instance, the newest episode of Bleach is out, and Kenpachi Zaraki is there. His whole aura is strength above all. His power is that he focused so much on strength, so much on his ability to just be strong without any other extras, is that he lost his ability to access Shikai and Bunkai. And this is the amazing thing, is if you focus solely on your strength and you don't tackle your weaknesses. And it wasn't until he took on Captain Unohana and obtained the rank of Kenpachi for real, that was when he became his strongest. That is when he achieved his Bunkai. And his Bunkai is a nameless Bunkai, but I'll name it for you now. Ego no Akuma, meaning smiling devil or smiling demon.
その力の名前はね、挽回だよ。
Oh, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next?
This is the true face of those who understand the goal can sometimes be lost, and you may have to find it again through pain, suffering, and taking on some sort of imaginary boss fight. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? Like, life is a video game. This idea of you got to level yourself up. To me, it's extremely exciting. I love it. Like, there's parts of me that are really low in terms of points, and then I've put loads of points into other things to be able to figure that out. And you got to tackle those low points sometimes to be able to equal yourself out in terms of life. But sometimes you've got to prioritize the things that you truly want to achieve, and you've got to make sure that you put all your eggs in that basket for now. And that will allow you to become extremely good at that one thing. But I have noticed something, is that the people who are obsessed with what they do and find joy from it, they're actually the happiest, most content people, because they have no other vision than that. Now, is that right for you? I don't know. For me personally, I'm obsessed with working out, with running, and doing this podcast. I love doing it, and we're 139 episodes in now, so it's not. I don't think it's going to calm down anytime soon. And this is something that I've realised: if you're doing something for free and for fun, and it never gets old, then continue to do it, because you'll get something out of it. And for me personally, it's just the ability to express thoughts, to be understood, to be creative, to add memes that are hilarious throughout this and make me sound funnier than I actually am, and to also have fun and joy and enjoy the journey, and to continuously push forward and to challenge myself. And those three things, for me personally, they'll never get stale. They never have, and they never will. And I hope you find something as much as that. I hope you find the joy that I have for those things, and it will always make you feel more human each time you do the things that you love and you're obsessed with those things. And I don't know any other way in life other than finding more people who are obsessed. And if they are obsessed, then it's so easy to relate to them, because you can see it in their minds, this cog, this little turning dial of like, when am I going to get to do it? When am I going to get to do it? Oh my god, when's the next day? When's the next day? When's the next day? When's this idea of when am I going to be able to do it next? And this is, maybe it's an unhealthy obsession, but if you're getting more positives than you are negatives out of it, in my opinion, it's a healthy obsession. So, you have no enemies. Push forward. Take that weight off your shoulders. Create goals. And remember, have big dreams. Hope you've enjoyed this cringy podcast. I hope you've enjoyed the cringe around it, the cringe factor. I love it. I love doing it. Personally, I'll never change. I'll never stop being cringy. And if you're here for it, welcome to the crew. If you're not...
Well, and that's the other thing too, is I think the world the world is full of darkness, let's say. And we could say each of us have a little bit of light. And if we release that light, if we let it shine properly, Christ, it's too cliched to go on with in some sense, but the world is a lesser place if you do not reveal from within yourself what you have to reveal. And the fact that the world is a lesser place actually turns out not to be trivial. Like if you aren't everything you could be, more people will die.
You've gone one podcast in. What have you got to lose, eh? 25 minutes of your life lost. I'm sorry. I'm not really. Enjoy. This has been a Taylor's Tales podcast. This has been Chris's Corner. I've been your host, Chris Taylor. And as always, I hope to see you this time next week. Bye now.
Oh my gosh, I'm as crazy as my mother. Oh.